Good morning. 2 weeks ago, we looked at a bit of the context of Revelation chapter 3, verse 18, about how it was written to the church in Laodicea and how it was a warning to them to be all in for Jesus, to make sure that Jesus was fully part of their community and that they were reaching out to people so that they would know Jesus more, and that they would not be lukewarm as Christians and kind of be, off-putting for people around them, but inviting for people around them because they want people to know Jesus. Last week, Aaron and Beth talked about how Jesus is inviting us into a relationship with Him. He knocks at the door of our hearts. This is the famous kind of illustration, Jesus standing at a door, knocking at the door of our hearts, and we invite Him into our lives, and He comes in and meets with us. Well, let's look at some figures in the Bible who invited God in. In the Old Testament, it's full of stories about how people received God's people and received God. I want to think about a woman named Rahab. She's part of Jesus' family tree. In Matthew chapter 1, you can read Jesus' family line, his genealogy, and her name appears in it. Now, she was a woman who lived in the city of Jericho. She was one of the Canaanites who God said to destroy. God said to cast them out of the land because it was the chosen land for His people. Well, the two spies that went across to Jericho to spy out the land, they met with Rahab, and she had them into her house. And she understood who the God of the Israelites was. She received the spies, and she said, "What can I do not to be destroyed? Because I know your God is the one true God. And our gods are nothing. They're just stone and metal and wood. They're not really anything. They're just creations of man. But I know your God is the one true God, and I want to be His person too." That she wanted to be part of God's people. The spies said to her, "Tie a red cloth, a red string, into your window, and when we overthrow the city, you will survive, you and whoever's inside your household." Now, if remember, in the Exodus, 40 years before that, the people had to paint their doors red, above their doors and the side of their doors. They painted them red with the blood of a lamb. Well, again, a red cloth would represent blood and the covering that Jesus gives us through His death on the cross. So she received God by wanting to be part of God's people. And she was not destroyed. And she became a part of Jesus' family tree. That's part of God's amazing plan. And God has an amazing plan for our lives as well. And everything that's happening now is for God's good purpose. As hard as it might be to believe, God has a plan even for us through this coronavirus pandemic. And He is knocking at the door saying, whoever opens the door, I will come in and meet with him. I will come in and be with him. And that's God's promise for us. When we hear God's voice calling, knocking at the door, we open the door and we receive Him. We receive Jesus and we're saved. And that's it. Now, how do we know more about Jesus? Well, we say it every day, every week almost. Read our Bible, pray every day, and we'll grow in our faith and knowledge of the Lord Jesus. All right, here I am again with the song. God bless you.